So I'm getting everything ready for my September update, and I'm really looking forward to getting started. I have a few different topics I want to talk about, such as propagations. I was prepping for a plant trade, long-term solutions for my climbers, winter prep, some lighting changes that I've noticed now that the sun is getting a little bit lower in the sky. It was kind of toasting some of my plants. I have a few plants that I want to feature in this video, and I also have some cool updates for my Monstera. So we will start with some of the plants that I want to feature. First is my Paraiso Verde. So I had gotten this plant and it had these two leaves and this leaf. And this leaf, unfortunately, when I was washing the roots to prepare it for the pond, it touched the tea kettle that I was boiling the leca with. And so yeah, I toasted that off. But it is acclimating. This is the newest leaf. It is significantly smaller, but to be expected. And then I have another leaf coming in right here. I expect it to size up quite a bit, but yeah. Paraiso Verde, I thought these leaves just looked so pretty. It might be getting a little too much light because I do have it on the windowsill. I'm probably gonna be scooting it back a little bit, but how pretty is that? Okay, so Paraiso Verde. Anything else I wanna mention on him? No, not really. That I toasted the leaf, I guess. Ooh, I wanted to update you also on the pitcher plant. So this is my pitcher plant I got about a month ago. Most of the original pitchers actually toasted off and looked like this. I can't seem to get any of the pitchers to last longer than 3 weeks, but all of these are new, and it's still putting out new pitchers here, but isn't it cute? I have 3 new leaves in the month that I've had it. I keep it in just sphagnum moss with a water reservoir, and I'm starting to invest in distilled water just for this plant and my betta fish that I've had forever. When you know better, do better. So I'm gonna start using distilled water for my betta fish as well. But yeah, pitcher plant update. I wasn't going to include this in the video, but might as well. So this is my baby rubber tree, my Peperomia obtusifolia. So I have 2 in here. One's very good and one's not. And I staked it up. And this just kind of goes to show you that once you stake up your plants and they're stable and you don't mess with them too much, they start to get more secure and pushing out new growth. So I have 7 new leaves growing from the bottom, which is so cool. Look how pretty it is. So pretty. And yeah, so yeah, the baby rubber tree is just getting pretty intense. Yeah, I guess I just don't appreciate this plant that much, but I do now. Also wanted to just do a quick update on the Philodendron White Knight. I had this solid white leaf. It's pushed out a second solid white leaf, so I'm a little worried. And the tip of the newest leaf is also solid white, so I don't know. This is the leaf between the 2 solid white leaves, so at least, you know, there's something there, but it seems to be pretty happy. I keep it underneath my Thai constellation, so it has plenty of shade. That's so pretty. Okay. So when we get to the propagations, I'll explain the accident that I had with the squamiferum when I was prepping it for the plant trade. But this is just another example about how I make mistakes and I knock my plants around, and most of their damage is from me. On my UPI, I was looking at it and I did this to it, and I'm so upset. Well, I'm not gonna be upset because I learned my lesson. I'm not gonna waste my weekend crying over my plants. So this is my UPI tissue culture. I had this big, beautiful leaf, and I had another leaf on the way, but guess what? It's broken. Who did that? I did that. I did that. I don't know what I was thinking. I saw something down here at the bottom, and I suppose it was the caterpillar I lifted the leaf to pull the caterpillar out. There's no reason you should ever have to do that. Don't do that. I don't know what I was thinking. So I broke the tip of the caterpillar off. Well, I can't help myself. I came back and lifted it again to see if I can take the back of the caterpillar out of here because I was afraid it was gonna rot, and then just broke the whole leaf. But otherwise, it's super happy. It's doing a great job. Lots of good rootage here. Whoa, that bird was intense. And like solid growth, like I'm seeing it size up, like it's doing its job. I'm just over here breaking it. So yeah, huge setback. We're gonna have to wait for, I guess, a new growth point because like I said, I broke off the tip of the caterpillar. So you know what happens, whatever. I guess while we're talking about my tissue culture plants, I'll throw in my Pallidiflorum. This is the newest leaf, and actually no, that's the newest leaf. This one just unrolled, so it still needs to size up. I'm not gonna touch it, learn my lesson. But it's also just doing a splendid job. So pleased with all my tissue culture plants. And who else? Oh, well, I'll talk about the Lutterbachia when we talk about, no, I'll just say it now. Because I did a few repots and I have some repots that I intend on doing, so I was gonna make that a whole section of this video, but I was down here one night and watering my plants, and I hear like a dink, no, that wasn't it. I heard glass break, but it was just so faint. And then suddenly I could hear water just pouring. My Lutterbachia was in a glass square vessel and it cracked. So I upgraded it. I went to IKEA and got one of their big jars for, what was this, like $3.99, and repotted it in this vessel. Because alocasias hate being repotted, I got a little bit of browning on some of the leaves, but otherwise, like this newest leaf, wait, is that the newest leaf? This is the newest leaf, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Like, see if I can get a better view for you. And they have the purple backs, and I just love the Alocasia Lutterbachia. It's so pretty. Can I get that in the whole thing? Yeah. So anyway, Alocasia Lutterbachia, repot in Leca and Lechuza. The roots are already down at the bottom. It seems to have already stabilized itself really nicely, and yeah, I'm excited for it to size up. I mean, it is a bigger vessel as well, so. So my Thai constellation, oh my God, look at that new leaf. I think the last month video, this was just unfurling, and it had the 4 fenestrations and 2 on this side, and God, it's just sizing up. It went from nothing to that, to there, to there, and now this one. And it's gonna size up, it's gonna keep expanding, but there is a center fenestration on this one. I am just so pleased with this plant. Like, it's making me so happy, so happy. This Monstera also has 4 new center fenestrations. These are the previous leaves. And I haven't gotten a new leaf on this in a while. I would say 2 months. And so, but like the size difference, is enormous. Like the size of this leaf, come on, so pretty. Okay, so let's go outside and I'll show you my other Monstera. I have been just gushing over this leaf. Look at it, I can't even stand back. It's so gorgeous. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you want to count that, I don't know, but oh my God, I'm just obsessed. I love this leaf. It seems to be really happy here. It gets indirect light, not very much light, so I'm a little surprised by that. But yeah. While I'm out here, I can show you, I've been propagating my Transiscanthia because God, this plant requires so much maintenance. It gets too big, and then the top here stops bringing it water and nutrients because it just breaks. And so I started a new little plant that I have hanging right there. So this windowsill gets a little bit too much light, even with these plants here blocking the morning sun and the awning. My Hoyas, I can tell also that it has too much light just because my Hoyas are sun stressing just a little bit. Uh-oh, let me actually show you that. They're sun stressing just a little bit. So I'm assuming that this is just way too much light for the alocasias, as well as the fact that my Cuprea and this platinum silver was just, it was looking down, it was drooping. I lost a leaf on the Cuprea. So yeah, I scooted it back, so hopefully it's a more appropriate lighting for that alocasia. And then these alocasias I put down here to take them out of that super, super bright light. Here's my mother plant for my Alocasia amazonica. It has a new leaf coming right there. And also the baby corms are putting out some new leaves. Really happy about that. More platinum silver that's just thriving with this lighting instead. They're not too happy because I filled the water line up this high. My longlobia actually got root rot, so it doesn't have any roots. It's sitting in a champagne glass in my kitchen, so hopefully it will look better. My dragon scale, love the texture of this leaf. Oh, right next to my King Anthurium veitchii, who also has an amazing texture. But anyway, that's my alocasia update. The lighting was just too intense. I don't really know what else to say about it. Hopefully this is a better solution. Regarding humidity, I did repot my fern in this cloche, and oh my God, I'm just obsessed. It starts to get too much condensation, so I just twist this. Well, I'll let the condensation be over there, but I just twist it and it makes it look so pretty. As you can see, this bird's nest fern just had a haircut. I cut all of its brown leaves off. I have some new growth happening now that the temperatures aren't necessarily like 105 every day, but hopefully it'll feel better soon. I'll take you inside and show you my kitchen one. So this is the fern that I keep in the kitchen. This bird's nest fern is in a lechuza pond, no drainage, and it's so happy here. I'm never gonna move it. I'm so pleased with its growth. And yeah, this now is also, oh, here's the longlobia I mentioned earlier in a champagne glass and water. Hopefully it will bounce back. I'm not too optimistic, but we'll see. Oh, my philodendron fuzzy petiole. I almost traded this plant at the last plant trade, decided not to take it with me. So I've just fallen in love with it. I didn't realize that it got so big. I also didn't realize the leaves start off white like this and get darker. Like this leaf was solid white and it got darker. Now, that leaf and this leaf grew when they were in quarantine in my bedroom. The grow light that I have is super cheap. I don't think it was nearly enough for it, but now that I brought it out here and it's out of quarantine, it is giving out these big, beautiful leaves. I'm so happy with it. So happy with that. Yeah, I've just fallen in love with this plant. It gets huge. The petioles even get fuzzier as it gets bigger, and these leaves can be the size of my head. And just now imagine that, the size of my head. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. What else? Look how pretty he looks. Why don't you just show yourself? And he's still hardening off. Okay, so next I'm gonna talk about the plant trade and me making propagations for it in preparation. I got my days mixed up on the plant trade, so I didn't even get to go after all of that stress, but I propagated my squamiferum.
Okay, we're recording, Mom.
Okay, perfect. It's a philodendron squamiferum.
and we are going to propagate it. I have Arrow as my cameraman. Okay, that's Arrow. In case you were wondering. Cut down this moss pole. What's still holding this on here?
Itself.
Let go.
Why'd you even tape it to there?
It's impressive. It's actually just clean wrap. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
No!
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
It's so painful to watch that.
Here's the top cutting. And it has 2 flowers, 2 inflows on it, and a new
beautiful.
leaf. So
It's beautiful.
I
have
am
to step
layered.
back.
Are you paying attention?
No, like
Okay.
turn it back around.
I can't yet. I'm
Yes, you
going to
can.
show you my air layering. Do you see that? See all the roots that I've already established? Thank you for that splendid close-up, Arrow.
Now, like, turn it around. Turn it around. Perfect. Hey, stop moving it for a second. Still.
Okay. You direct me. What should I do?
I totally did screenshot that like a million times because it looked so beautiful in the light.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. You're so handy back here. Okay, so we're going to take this and keep it. And the bottom half, we're going to take to the plant trade this afternoon in downtown Houston. And we'll get a little cinnamon, put it on the tip here. And
Cinnamon.
cinnamon. I might actually cut one more time right here. I have one of them in a little bit of moss, and I kept the top cutting with quite a few leaves, which was very risky. A lot of really big leaves too. So it was on a moss pole, so pretty much all of the roots are in this moss pole right now. I don't think there's any roots in the substrate, the leca, just yet. I have broken off maybe, here's some right here, about 7 different inflows off of this plant. I kind of lost track. It may have even been more than that. So I'm optimistic that it'll grow, but I had put it in this pot, right? Everything looked perfect. I second guessed myself. I was like, I need the water line to be higher, otherwise it'll never root. Well, in that time, I just broke the tip off of this brand new leaf. My fault, really dumb. It's just a leaf, it'll grow back. I want my plants to bring me joy, and if they upset me, then I just have to remind myself that it'll grow back, you know? Don't want something that makes me so happy to also make me sad. But yeah, broke off that giant leaf. It was probably gonna be even bigger than this already huge leaf. So the next leaf that might come out of that cataphyll will probably be about that one size. I don't think it's going to be as big as this one just because of the propagation. Sometimes it takes a little bit to acclimate, and the next leaf can be wonky or smaller, and then it'll bounce back. Let's see here. I also put some propagations. Oh, and then I was just going to sell this one. I was going to sell this squamiferum. It has a new leaf coming too. This is the squamiferum that I took my top cutting from. The lower leaves are quite smaller, but it does have a new growth point right here that I'm pleased to see. I thought about possibly trading it. I don't know. I have a lot of squamiferums. I don't need this many squamiferums and Florida Beauties. So I definitely wanted to prep for this plant trade. I was also going to propagate my micans. Look at how big and velvety and beautiful this leaf is. Like, are you kidding me? But now that this leaf is totally unfurled, I am prepared to, oh, and I have some good roots here. I'm prepared to go ahead and propagate this. Maybe put another stem inside of this moss pole, let it climb back up. And yeah, so I'm very, very happy with the micans growth. I'm going to be propagating him for my October plant trade that I'm going to. This is my other begonia that I have propagated. I have put it in a little bit of pond with a high water line, and I intend on taking this to the plant trade as well. Very, very pleased with this propagation. I haven't had a lot of success propagating begonia up until now, so it's still pushing out new growth. So I'm going to assume that it's very happy. I also propagated my super long Hoya linearis, and I put the propagations in water, waited till the roots were about 2 inches long and had secondary roots. I repotted them into the pond last night, so big full pot. I'm really looking forward to it, you know, spilling over, and I can have like a long, lush, soft Hoya linearis. Now these leaves, like, they are so fuzzy. I just love walking up to them and just being a weirdo and stroking them. I don't know how else to say it, but absolutely in love. This Hoya, I think it's a Lacunosa Splash. I'm not really sure, but its peduncle just keeps pushing out flowers right here and right here. Oh, can you see? It's so backlit you can't see. Never mind. But and it just smells amazing. My zigzag cactus has lots of new growth. I'm so happy with how these propagations are turning out. Like, so cute. I'm trying to find a way to show you my zigzag cactus propagations without the lighting totally ruining it, but lots of new growth right here. Really happy about that. And I think I'm also going to be propagating my Peru. It's getting a little out of control, and maybe trading some of those leaves. My Hoya publicaix Hawaiian Splash is also pushing out a ton of new leaves. And look at this. It's just grabbing onto whatever it can. I recently learned that they grow in a counterclockwise direction. Like how they spin around things needs to be counterclockwise. And if you spin it around clockwise, you can actually interfere with its growth, and it will just stop growing and pushing out leaves. So, cool fun fact that I recently learned. So while I'm trying to plan and prep for winter, I'm trying to plan what I want to do with my climbing plants, that I just need a long-term solution. Like my Rhapidophora is growing so tall that I don't really know where else it's gonna go. My Syngonium is also just losing its mind, and I'm trying to get you so you can see it, but yeah, it's secured to the wall. I had initially secured it and now it's just secured itself, but yeah, it's growing so tall. Might be propagating it for the October plant trade as well. The obliqua grows slow enough to where I'm not that concerned about it growing up the wall, but the Rhapidophora and the Syngonium are, yeah, I can't keep up with them at all. So here is another climbing plant I have in my kitchen. It is climbing up my kitchen counters. The leaves are just stunning, but like, I don't know where it's gonna go next. Maybe it'll go across the window and down here, but yeah, I need to start coming up with a plan to fix that. Out here on the patio, I repotted my Dracaena there in the back. I have intentions on repotting my Platinum Silver Alocasia. It's sending out tons of inflows. I'm kind of concerned that it's just a little too root bound in this Lechuza pot for being such a massive plant. So yeah, I'll be repotting that. I have a cutting of my begonia, which this is actually really cool. I'm not begonia, my rubber tree. And it is rooting. Let me see if I can get you focus. It is rooting. All those white things are roots. It looks weird, but it's rooting. So I'm just gonna trade that, maybe gift it to my mom. Also have this one. It's so pretty. And I just can't with this. This Ficus elastica, but the leaves are silver and the center venation down the middle is pink. When I bought this plant, it had two. So I put one in Luchusa Pond and put it in my kitchen, and it is thriving. This one is also doing really good. I haven't seen any new leaves on it yet, but I'm just gonna let it stay out here and keep acclimating. More propagations from the Rhaphidophora that I plan on trading. And then my Adansonii, which is just, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that in the winter. Continuing the topic on winterizing, all my plants outside, I don't know what I'm gonna do with. And the grow lights that I keep inside are not that great, and I don't wanna spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on expensive grow lights. So I'm thinking about getting a clear plastic tarp and putting it here and here, and the plants are just gonna have super low light. I even have Cebu Blue growing up this tree and more obliqua somewhere else in the yard that I don't really know what to do with during the winter. I guess I'm just gonna let it be and hope for the best. So yeah, I think I'm gonna turn this 10 by 10 area into a greenhouse for when it gets less than 50 degrees here, which is only for about 2 months. So hopefully that'll work. So I think that's it for my September updates. We talked about the excessive lighting I had on my alocasias and the solutions that I have for that, the plant trade, the propagations, the accidents, my long-term plans and solutions for winterizing, and my climbing plants, and my Monstera constellation fenestrations. Oh my God. And so, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for all of September, and I will see you in October. Bye.